Walt Disney once said, "We keep moving forward, opening new doors and doing new things because we're curious. And curiosity keeps leading us down new paths." Today on the Champion Forum podcast, we discuss the power of curiosity in leadership. Welcome to the Champion Forum podcast, where we discuss the essential traits that make up great leadership. I'm your host, Jeff Hancher, and today we are exploring a fundamental yet often overlooked leadership quality, and that's the quality of curiosity. You know, curiosity has gotten a lot of buzz lately. It's been touted as a core skill for leaders and something that more leaders need to possess. We've seen even influential thought leaders like Simon Sinek talking about the power of curiosity. We've seen recent research done by the Harvard Business Review. They actually recently did a survey that found that 83% of C-suite executives and more than half of employees believe that curiosity sparks positive organizational change. They also said that they believe that it can lead to an increase in salary potential. That's right. If you're somebody that is chasing more success, you're chasing an increased earning potential, curiosity might be one of those things that you might be overlooking. But curiosity, it's not just a skill that's reserved for just leaders. This is for everybody. Whether you're an aspiring leader, maybe you're an individual contributor who wants to be somebody that's known for high performance, and you want to have a successful career and you want to rise up the ranks within the company that you're a part of, well, here's the thing to know. Curiosity is in very high demand. So let's talk about this curiosity in leadership. What is it? What does it mean? We hear it being buzzed around. You know, curiosity, I believe, is a critical component for effective leadership. It's this desire to learn, to explore new ways, to understand, a new way of understanding. It's what I believe drives leaders to ask the right questions, to seek new perspectives from the people that they lead. And it is also this way of having this way of thinking that we're always going to be improving. You know, this level of discontent that says, you know what, we're not where we could be. Why? Because I'm curious. I have this belief that maybe there's more. You know, great leaders are never ones that are known for settling for the status quo. They're always looking for new ways to innovate. They're always looking for improvement. They want to understand their team and their industry in a deeper and better way. These are what great leaders are made of. And there's many benefits of curiosity. Curiosity brings a host of different benefits to leadership. Let's break down some of these benefits. Well, something that I've learned is that it enhances problem solving. If you're in leadership, you know there are problems. There's problems not only daily, but sometimes by the hour. And if you incorporate this curiosity into your leadership, I believe that curious leaders are better problem solvers. They dig deeper to understand the root causes of issues that are coming up, and they explore various different solutions. It's not a one-size-fits-all when it comes to problem solving. Why? Because they're curious. They think that there might be a different way. I think it also, curiosity helps improve decision making. What we know about leaders, especially entrepreneurs, is that you got to be thinking about different decisions, what vendors to use, different processes, different software and technology, who to hire, who to fire, when to scale, how to do it. There's all kind of decision making that happens. By gathering more information and considering different perspectives, curious leaders are more informed and they know how to make better and more effective decisions. The other thing that curiosity does is I believe it drives stronger relationships. Curiosity fosters empathy, doesn't it? And it fosters this level of understanding. When leaders show genuine interest in their team's ideas and concerns, it builds trust. It strengthens relationships. The other thing that curiosity does is it drives continuous learning. Why is that? Well, if you're curious, you don't have this belief that you know everything. Curiosity drives leaders to keep learning and developing new skills, which is crucial in a rapidly changing world. I mean, look, even in the last 6 to 12 months, what has happened with technology, what has happened with artificial intelligence. There's so much fast-paced moving that leaders have to keep up with. And when you're curious, you're not resting on what has gotten you here. You're more forward thinking about what if I don't and I get left behind. There's so many examples of this that we are all very, very familiar with. Steve Jobs. I mean, he was known for his relentless curiosity. You know, this is a guy that constantly was asking questions, sought to understand every detail about his products and the market and the industry and the competition. This curiosity drove innovation at Apple. You know, you could question his leadership attributes and the way that he led. It's very well documented. But one thing I don't think you can question about Steve Jobs was this guy curious? He absolutely was curious. Then you could go look at the CEO of Pepsi-Cola, Indra Nooyi. Wow, what a story of leadership and curiosity. You know, she was known for her curiosity about global markets and consumer behavior, and it continues to this day. This curiosity helped her as a senior leader at Pepsi Company make strategic shifts towards healthier products. She was curious about it. You know, she didn't want to lose market share. So she looked at this globally. What are consumer behaviors? I'm curious. I want to know more. I don't want to just keep doing it the way that we've always done it. And Pepsi has seen tremendous benefits from that. Look no further than Elon Musk. You know, his curiosity spans multiple industries, from electric cars to space innovation. He has these deep-rooted desires to learn and explore new frontiers. It's led to groundbreaking advancements at Tesla, SpaceX, you know, his Boring company. I mean, when we first hear some of these ideas, our mind is like blown. Like, how is this ever going to happen? How is this even going to be possible? Why? Well, he's a curious guy. He sees things that have never been there before. And he's always thinking about what if? What if that could happen? Is this possible? Look at Walt Disney. You know, Disney's creative and curious mind, it led to the establishment of unique strategy, of creativity that brought thoughts completely to life, revolutionized the entertainment industry. His contributions have made iconic animated characters, theme parks, and innovative ways to tell stories to the world. These are amazing, and I'm sure the list can go on and on and on. But there comes a time in every leader's journey that they got to ask themselves, all right, how do I cultivate this? How do I get out of just running in my lane to create this level of curiosity that can create change and add value to the team that I lead? So look, we've established that curiosity is important. We've established that curiosity is critical to your success and impact as a leader and to your career growth, as well as a high-performing team that you're trying to build. Let's take a couple minutes and let's talk about some ways maybe that you as a leader can be intentional to become more curious, even if it's not natural to you. I don't know if people are born curious. Maybe there are some. But I do believe that there's things, whether you are naturally curious or not, I believe that there's some things that we can all do to get better at this curiosity thing. And the first thing, and I would probably rank it number one, is ask great questions. Ask great questions. Make it a habit in your leadership approach to ask open-ended questions. Instead of telling and giving directives, ask your team for their input and their ideas. This is us as leaders thinking collaborative versus directive. You know, Einstein said one time that curiosity had its own reason for existing and that we should never stop questioning. Wow, isn't that something? Curiosity has its own reason for existing, and we should never stop questioning. This guy earned the right to talk about curiosity, didn't he? And to what Albert Einstein had to say, I would add this. We must also never stop listening and seeking to better understand the people that we lead. That's how leaders tap into the power of curiosity, is not just asking questions for the sake of asking them, but asking questions that are open-ended and thought-provoking so that we can listen, that we can hear, because we're curious and we understand that we don't have all the answers. And it's important to ensure that you hear every voice, not just the ones that are easiest to hear. When you look across your team, I guarantee you could stack rank the people on your team that are easiest to hear. And sometimes the ones that aren't easiest to hear, they don't even have a voice. Make sure that we aren't creating internal biases and that we ensure that everybody on our team has a voice. Don't assume that if people have a promising idea or something important to say, that they're just going to come out and say it. Sometimes the best ideas are often left unsaid because that individual doesn't feel comfortable, or maybe they don't hear heard. As a leader, we must actively invite people to contribute rather than just like beating the hammer and requiring them to say something and requiring them to force their way into a conversation. You know, we all have those people on our team that they have no problem talking over everybody. They're the loudest voice in the room. Meanwhile, the best ideas could be coming from the people that don't carry that same kind of extrovert, talk louder kind of mentality, but they might be the ones that have the best ideas. Leave time and space for people to share. Give everybody an opportunity to contribute. Listen to all the perspectives of the people around you, including your customers, and be sure to allow time to reflect. Don't go into these meetings or even one-on-ones or team discussions or customer inquiries and just get a lot of information, write a lot of notes, create the big spreadsheet, like do all those things. But let me challenge you as a leader to take time and reflect. What did I just hear? What am I going to do with the information that I just learned? Here's 5 questions that I want you to think about that maybe if curiosity doesn't come natural and you're like, I don't even know what I would ask, right? Here's 5 questions that I believe that you can start incorporating that will drive and stimulate curiosity on your team. The first one, what if? The what if. The what if is one of the best questions to drive communication. Think about it. What if we changed our processes, team? What if we changed our view of our competition? What if we changed our marketing strategy? What if we changed our hiring process? Could we get even more better, high qualified candidates in here? What would that look like, right? Second question that I love. What do you know that is new? What do you know that is new? You know, I stole this one from the repertoire of the late great CEO of GE, Jack Welch. You know, Jack Welch, upon meeting somebody for the first time, often would ask them this question. What do you know that is new? And then he took time to listen to their answers. What do you know that is new? By the way, isn't that the most sign of humility? Is just asking somebody, what do they know? Sometimes as a leader, we can intimidate people with our knowledge, how we speak, how we look, our tenure, our wisdom, our trophy case. Man, we're going to reach out and we're going to ask. The third question that I like is this. What do we need to know to make this decision? You're going to have to make a lot of decisions as a leader. There's going to be people coming at you with different thoughts, different ideas, different opinions. What do we need to know to make this decision? This simple question challenges groups, individuals, to think through a problem before making a decision. Look, there are times that you're going to have to be decisive as a leader. I get it. There's going to be times that you won't have time. But when you have time to strategize, when you have time to plan, what do we need to know to make this decision? The fourth question that I like is this. What does this mean for us? Or what does this mean for our customers? You know, a lot of times people will come with innovation, with thoughts, with ideas of new products and services, new comp plans, whatever it might be, fill in the blank. You run it every day. What does this mean for our company? What does this mean for our customers? This helps you look into the future versus the right now. This helps you understand, am I taking shortcuts or not, right? This curiosity in this question will drive the answers to the long term. And then the fifth question, how would you approach this situation if you framed it as an opportunity instead of a problem? How many times do people come to you as a leader with a problem? Almost daily, right? Hey, boss, I got a problem. Hey, we got an issue. Hey, the customer called. Hey. I mean, it's constant, right? By the way, that's what we're built for, and we love that. We love problem solving. Here's the question that you ask when these problems start to come up. How would you approach this situation if you framed it as an opportunity instead of a problem? Because sometimes people are coming to you and the sky is falling, the house is on fire. You know, when you ask it this way, it really changes the environment. Asking it this way, it forces people out of a defensive mode into this world of possibilities. What if you framed this as an opportunity instead of a problem? Here's the other thing that curious leaders do. They embrace learning. Dedicate time to learning new things, reading the new book, attending the workshop, seeking mentorship, listening to a podcast like this, following the right people, thought leaders on social media. What are you learning? How are you getting better? How are you fighting for the inches of knowledge, of wisdom? Here's the other thing that curious leaders do, is that they don't want to just be the only curious one around. They encourage curiosity in the team that they lead, into the organization that they serve. It's so important that we create an environment where questions and exploration are encouraged. Celebrate innovative ideas. When somebody comes with something groundbreaking, something new, make a big deal about it. Reward it. Reward this level of curiosity and innovative thinking. And embrace failure. A great way to make sure that people are innovating and they're staying curious is to embrace failure. If people make mistakes and you're coming with the stick, nobody's going to want to be that curious. They're not going to want to step out of the boat, right? They're afraid that the wrath is coming. A great exercise that I love to encourage curiosity amongst the team is this exercise of as is, should be, barriers, payoff. As is, should be, barriers, payoff. You get your team in a room, you get the marker and the whiteboard ready, and you just write these words in columns, as is, should be, barriers, payoff. And then we start brainstorming topics. Hey, this is as is our current hiring process. This is how I believe it should be. These are the barriers to get from where we are now to where we need to go. Now we're troubleshooting, but if we can get there, this is the payoff. You can go through this with so many different things. Employee engagement, driving culture, key performance indicators, product launches, down the list, as is, should be, barriers, and payoff. By the way, leader, you're the one that's just emceeing the event. You want to talk very little. You're going to explain to them what we're talking about, and then you're going to release them to talk. If you're going to be a curious leader, you're going to have to stay humble. Recognize that you don't have all the answers. Be open to feedback. Be willing to learn from other people, regardless of their position. Whether it's the lowest ranking person in the company or the highest ranking person, or maybe it's even that peer group that you're competing with for the next promotion. Make sure that you stay humble and you have this aura about you that you don't have all the answers. I'm not saying run around the hallways, looking inept, but I am saying that humility screams curiosity. You have to be willing to be wrong. It's okay to be wrong, because when you admit that you're wrong, you're admitting that you are curious. I remember it was probably, 10 months ago, maybe a year ago now, that, a member of my team came to me and said, hey, I think we need to incorporate this new technology called Monday.com. This is not a paid sponsorship, by the way, but hey, if anybody knows anybody at Monday.com and they want an ad on this podcast, send them my way. Monday.com. Okay, what is this? Well, it's technology. Uh-oh. Well, if you know me and technology are like oil and water. Like it takes everything in me to copy and paste something into a different file. There's some vulnerability for you. But here they come to me because they were frustrated. So this was in the process of talking about a smoother process for our podcast production. And so at the time, we had a copywriter that would help with the show notes. We had our producer who would do the editing and uploading and all this stuff. And then we had social media. So somebody that was creating clips and highlights and, all of these different things. And then you had me, who was the host of the show. So you had 4 or 5 people that all had their place, and we were trying to email and carbon copy, and things would just get lost. So here she comes with, hey, Monday.com, that's the answer. And I'm like, I don't think it's the answer. I think what we're doing is working just fine. All we need to do is communicate better. Finally, I gave in, more or less, because I couldn't take the resistance anymore. And I'm like, all right, let's pay for the service. Well, you know what I found out in the matter of like 3 to 4 weeks? This dashboard was amazing. And everybody could literally just log on there and see where everything was in the process. And it was just amazing. And I had to walk into her office, tail between the legs, and say, you know what? You were right. I was wrong. And you know what? I think she got so much gratification out of that. I don't know if it's because she liked to prove me wrong. Not her. I mean, obviously she didn't. But it was like, wow, okay. Where can we find that again? If I go to him with something else, he might be open to making change. Now what I'm telling the entire organization is, I'm humble, I'm curious, I want you to be curious. Because with our curiosity, we can create a better way forward. The other thing that you need to do if you're going to be a curious leader is expand your network. Go to the networking events. Engage with key players in your industry and outside of your industry. What's this do? This encourages a new way of thinking, throwing you way open to new perspectives. This is going to challenge your way of ideology and your way of thinking. Maybe your way isn't the best way. Even if you're on top of industry, there might be a better way out there. Are you getting fresh ideas and pulling them into potentially stagnant waters inside of your company? It's for this very reason that we created the Executive Mastermind. What are we doing when we have these group of people? We're getting around other thought leaders. If there isn't fresh water flowing into your mind and your organization, you will certainly become stagnant. It's amazing to me when we get on these Executive Mastermind group calls, all the back and forth and the benchmarking, things that are happening inside of the chat on Zoom, and then we get together live for a quarterly meeting. I mean, look, I bring content, no question about it, but this is just thought leadership. Hey, has anybody ever had this problem? Oh yeah, we had that problem. Here's what we tried. And by the way, don't do this. It doesn't work. Try this anyway. Here comes all of this thought and this curiosity. And now it's a safe place for people to ask, quote unquote, dumb questions. Because it's like, man, the more dumb questions we ask, the more we're learning. Get around these kind of groups. Get around these kind of people that embrace this kind of curiosity. I mean, look, there's barriers to curiosity. There's no question about it. Despite all the benefits that we can talk about, curiosity can be stifled by many challenges. We got to push through the fear of the unknown. Need I tell you all listening, time constraints, comfort with the status quo, and the list goes on. And when these challenges come up and the negative thoughts hit your mind, make sure you're identifying with this, because it's going to come up. Here's my challenge to you when the negativity comes up as it relates to the positives of curiosity. Change your thinking from what if we do to what if we don't? What if we do become more curious? What about the fear? What about the time it's going to take? Change all that up and say, what if I don't? Well, I'll tell you what if you don't. At best, you stay the same, but most likely you're going to fall behind. Leadership often feels like you need to have all the answers. You got to have this clear path forward, charted out perfectly for your team to follow. But what if occasionally you threw out the map? You just burnt the map, and you ventured off the beaten path. Is that possible? I believe that it is. How do you go about doing this? Well, you encourage brainstorming sessions. And you go into these brainstorming sessions with this mantra of no idea is too wild. Take on a project outside of your comfort zone. Or maybe it's just your approach. Maybe you need to approach a problem from a completely different angle, a way that it's never been seen before. As an executive coach and a consultant that goes into companies, I get so much fulfillment into going into companies and offering these, what I believe to be simple solutions, and having executive teams look at me like, where have you been our whole life? Or I tell something to their team and the light bulbs go off and the executive team says, we've been telling them that for years. Well, I just have a different voice. I went at it from a different angle. It doesn't even make me better. But what happened was I was able to bubble up some curiosity internally. It's in these moments that you have to take this uncertainty and you have to say, you know what, this is exploration. We're going into uncharted territories, and this is where curiosity thrives. And who knows, you might just discover a new route to innovation that you would have never found any other way. The key thing to remember is that being curious as a leader, it doesn't just benefit you, although it has many great leadership benefits. It creates a team that's more resilient, more empathetic, and certainly more creative. As always, I appreciate you tuning in. I find it a great honor when you guys tune into the show. If you're getting value in the show, it's helping you to grow, the highest form of a thank you that you could give me is to forward this to a leader in your life, somebody that's looking to make bigger impact. Share the show with them. My goal will always be to help others lead, inspire, and win in this life. So thank you. Thank you in advance for sharing the content to get the word out so that we can all make bigger impact. Until next week, keep asking great questions, stay curious, and keep turning the pressure into potential.